Hey folks, this is a comment from, I believe it was Jay Palmer. And he says, voting party lines is what created this mess. Balance is the intent. And I took a couple hours after you left this comment to think about it because I'm really not sure what your intention is with the comment, and I didn't want to read into it too much. So I'm gonna get maybe a little heated on this because I think that it's important, but I want you to understand that I can't read based on the text whether or not you're saying like how exactly you mean this. So I want to make that clear, but it does give me the opportunity to make a further point to the video that you are commenting on that I think is important. And I think that, I want to thank you first off for making the comment because it does allow me to talk a little bit more about it. Um, what you're saying here, at least from the way I'm receiving it, is absolutely correct in a certain world, right? In kind of an idealistic way of framing the way things should be. And I think that there's something to that. There's something that we should absolutely, aspire to when you're talking about this. However, considering that it is an aspirational comment, it doesn't actually help us very much in the real world as we have it today. When you say, voting party lines is what created this mess, in that video that you responded to, I'm talking about essentially mostly people on the left, right? I'm just saying that we have to stand up against basically the Reds, right? At this point in time, right? Like we're standing against the encroaching fascism, the essential totalitarianism that is coming our way. And if you see it another way, if you don't see those terms as being realistic or even feasible, then I don't know necessarily that this is a good faith argument, but that's what's happening on one side. And so when you say that, there should be balance, I absolutely agree with you. Again, in kind of an idealistic way, but unfortunately that's not reality. And the only way to get that balance is through the process of literally pulling the country back to the center. And the only way to do that is to counterbalance the extreme right wing policies that have been put in place, not just in this term, but in the previous term as well. We're literally fighting a losing battle right now because so many people are, especially on the left and liberals are they're fighting amongst each other. They're not standing together. And that was the point of that video, is that this stupid way of thinking where people believe that their cause is so righteous that they're somehow like that it matters how righteous their cause is when they lose, because it doesn't. It doesn't. Like it's a zero sum game. You're literally accomplishing nothing if you don't win. You have to fucking win. And that's why the Republicans and the people on the right and the conservatives, that's why they win, is because they understand that it's about wins and losses. There's no moral victory in this. There's no, oh, well, we gave it our best shot. No, that we're talking about the future of the country. And so when you say things like we need to have balance, sure, of course we do. How do we achieve that? Do we stay balanced now? Because if you stay balanced right now with the far right government and the far right systems that we have in place, you're essentially saying, well, we should stay far right, right? Like it has to be balanced, which means you have to have the counterbalance to that. And that means voting party lines. So I absolutely agree with your second sentence there, but that first sentence is troubling to me because it's that line of thinking. Well, voting party is bad because of the. Well, we have to do that. Like the system that we have in this country dictates that we have to play the game the way that the rules are made, right? Like, unless there is a massive revolution, unless people literally take to the streets in every city along the entire landmass, we have to play by the rules. And so the idea of saying, well, voting party lines is bad may be true in an idealistic sense, but we live in reality. And we live in a reality where people are voting party lines. And when they do that, when you have an entire collective group that don't give a fuck about purity tests or morality and they're voting along party lines, they're all voting red. And then you have the people on the other side, the blue side, saying, well, we don't want to vote this way and we don't want to vote that way. And they're wishy washy and, there's infighting among them. The red wins. So we have to have the counterbalance to that. We essentially have to have the opposite of the Christian nationalistic fascism that is growing. And the problem is that the closer you get to far left ideologies, the more fascistic they become as well. So it's really important that we do keep, as you say, a balance. But for now, at this point in time in history, to do that, you have to pick a side and you have to stick with that side, at least until we feel that balance again. And right now we don't have that in this country. And it's wonderful to think that at some point in time that could happen, but right now it seems as if that is nigh impossible based upon the way things are going. And so I absolutely appreciate your comment. I just wish that it was something that was, it not so contradictory, because again, you're absolutely right. Like the system should be a system of balance. And if you have an engaged and informed electorate, then you'll find that does happen, over time. We don't have that. We have to live in the real world, and we have to recognize the fact that voting on party lines right now is the only way to achieve that balance. And that may take multiple years of voting in party lines before you can be idealistic and say, you know what, I don't really like this. I'm going to vote for somebody that's more centrist. I'm going to vote for somebody, because if you don't do that, then you are literally throwing your vote to the far right. And I don't know. I just can't stand by and watch that happen. So I again, thank you for the comment. I certainly appreciate it. I just think that that's a kind of a weird message, and I wanted to clarify my feelings on it. So thank you again. Please take care of yourself and take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.